you're going to be under arrest. So turn around.
Okay,
Stop
let's
resisting.
not.
Stop resisting.
Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his phone, okay? He's not, I understand, he's not resisting.
Put your arms
Like,
around.
There's no need for this.
Don't worry about it. You're going to have to come with us. Don't worry about
I'm coming with you, don't worry.
No one's resisting, no one's getting worked up.
you guys really don't need to be doing all of that.
It's fine, it's fine. Maybe it's fine.
حبيبي كيف بدي اتصل فيك؟
This guy is a Palestinian, at least that's what they say, and he's here on a green card. So he was a student at Columbia University, and he's here on a green card. So the guy was a student organizer for like some anti-Israel like organization or anti-Israel club or whatever in Columbia University. And he was the one organizing all the protests. They're saying that this is a speech issue. So he was detained and then now he's like in Louisiana, I believe. And of course, a lot of people are saying that this is a free speech issue. I don't see how that's a free speech issue when he's not an American. So I think that people are misinterpreting the First Amendment and the Constitution, and they're applying it to people that are not even American. So, I mean, there's a reason why in the Constitution it talks about naturalization, because it's about Americans. It's not about people with green cards. So this perspective that, oh, the Trump administration is breaching on our First Amendment rights because they're detaining this guy, to me is a far reach. And I don't think it's a very valid argument because this guy's not an American and he was organizing protests that were violent. They damaged private property, which we'll show soon. And again, he's not an American. So like if you're an American and you're saying like fuck America and pro Hamas, you're an American, you can do that. But if you're not an American and you're on a green card, you need to be on your like, what is that saying called? P's and Q's. That way, you know, you can get to citizenship. You know, like, so I think.
Shout out to Jose. Hey, what's up, brother?
What's up? Yeah, tell me what you think about this because, I mean, I'm going to get more into it, but this is a really touchy subject because it's like this guy is pretty much he was trying to negotiate with Columbia University to try to like defund like Israeli students, like something along those lines. Like he was trying to like stop Israel from funding the university or people that were Jewish or something along those lines. And then the university was like, no, we're not going to do that. But he still was organizing these protests that ended up becoming violent. So, I mean, take a look at this video really quick.
This guy like screams government plant to me. I don't know. He has that vibe.
Yeah, I was telling you that earlier. I think this guy's a plant. I mean, allegedly. I don't know. I'm just,
I agree. I mean, just look at him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, me either. Let's take a look at that really quick.
Ooh, here we go.
Okay.
We have you covered here. Well, take a look at what the president said of the arrest over the weekend of a former Columbia student, a Palestinian organizer, saying that President Trump said, "We will find, apprehend, and deport these terrorist sympathizers from our country, never to return again. If you support terrorism, including the slaughtering of innocent men, women, and children, your presence is contrary to our national and foreign policy interests, and you are not welcome here." So again, that coming over the weekend of the ICE arrest of the former Columbia student for his apparent role in the anti-Israel protests and encampments that happened last year, and we showed you so many of them over the course of last year. Now we want to take you out live to this active protest of that arrest. We should also tell you the breaking news that a judge has denied for the time being that deportation. There is going to be a special hearing on Wednesday for that organizer. So what we'll do right now is just play out just some of the sights and sounds coming out of New York City. Let's listen in.
This is what I want you guys to listen to. Listen to it. This is the Jewish guy.
David Weiss of Neturei Character Jews United Against Zionism. Basically, we have rabbis from Palestine, from Jerusalem, Al-Quds, and many of us who are immigrants, second-generation immigrants. My father escaped from the Nazis. His parents were killed in Auschwitz, as my mother and almost the entire family. I was born here. We are Jews, and because we are Jews, we cannot be silent when we're witnessing a massacre, a wholesale murder of the people in Gaza, and it's being perpetrated under the name of my religion, Judaism. And if anybody dares to speak and to try to somehow express their hurt, their feeling, students who are relatives of these people and others who have humanity on their mind, they're immediately accused of being anti-Semitic. Now, anti-Semitic, we know it's in our bones. My family suffered from anti-Semitism. But anti-Semitism means when you hate somebody because of their religion, because of Jewish, not when you are opposed to a crime that has been perpetrated against your family, when you're watching children being murdered. So therefore, we are out here pleading with our president, pleading with the heads of Columbia University, pleading with the people who are in power. Stop being intimidated. Stop being conned by this false narrative, the false Judaism, Zionism. It's a pure ersatz Judaism. It's a nationalism. Judaism is a religion of 3,000 years. To serve God, we're forbidden to kill or steal. We're forbidden to create the Jewish sovereignty. What is being perpetrated in Gaza is senseless murder, and the ones who are doing this are the textbook definition of anti-Semitism, because Jews live together with Muslims. They are killing people. They are even killing and arresting Jews who are opposing them, and people are dying for their cause. They've caused a rift between Jews and Muslims. Stop this occupation. We can once again live in harmony and peace. Release Mahmoud Karun, because he is simply a hero, a person who's speaking up for the rights that God's want of us.
All right, so let me give my thoughts on that. If you can put me, thank you. All right, so as you can see, this issue has now divided even the Jewish community, and now there are people that are, on the Palestinian side, and then you have the Jews that are on the Israeli side. I agree with him to an extent, but I don't agree fully with him. I agree that Judaism is a religion. I agree with him on that it shouldn't be seen as a nationalist thing that it is right now, because it's a religion. But I don't agree with what does Mahmoud Khalid have anything to do with this. This is a whole separate issue altogether. Just because he happens to be Palestinian doesn't mean that he should be freed because he believes that Palestine should be free. Those things should not go together. That's just my take on that specifically. But when it comes to that issue, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually agree with Cenk. He was on Piers Morgan recently, and he was saying how...
With who?
Cenk Uygur, the Turkish guy from the Young Turks. He's the owner of the Young Turks. And he was on Piers Morgan a couple days ago, and he was saying how, where we back up Israel to a fault, and we don't acknowledge when they've done wrong. And I understand the perspective of Israel has been occupying Gaza for 60 years, I think, or about to be 60 years. So I understand the perspective of the Palestinian or the people that are pro-Palestinian of they've been and pretty much incarcerated by Israel for all these years, that, it's justified of what's going on right now. Like the way Palestinian people or pro-Palestinian people are acting is justified because of this like 50, 60 year incarceration of the military industrial complex of Israel. But to me, it's like that's not an excuse to create protest that puts the campus at risk. Like, I understand that the people of Palestine have suffered for many, many years, but I'm sorry to tell you that they're not the only people who are suffering. I am Cuban, I came from a third world country, and my country is still suffering. The people in my country are still suffering. So this perspective of, oh, because these people have been suffering for a long time and the conditions are horrible, that it justifies the shitty behavior that's going on right now in private property. Columbus is a private university. This should not be happening in a private or in a public, but especially not in a private university. And the reason why I'm very strong about this is because if you were to tell me that they were peacefully protesting, then I would sort of agree with this guy, but they're not peacefully protesting. If you damage private property, it's no longer peaceful, period. But apparently this is a speech issue, not a national security issue, which I strongly disagree, and what you're gonna see why. So if you can put the next one right now, it's the last spring in Columbia University. This is the protest that now is getting a bunch of people. They got people expelled, and that's another reason why this guy got detained, is because of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are they breaking into? What is this?
So they like pretty much like took control of a building.
What building is it, you know?
So, I don't know, some building in the university. And they broke the windows. They brought a ladder in
How
there.
is that supposed to
I don't
make it
exactly.
look good? Like,
Exactly. I don't
it makes
understand.
them look like a bunch of vandals. Is this what they're paying their tuition for? Like, to protest?
That's what I was
against
saying, like on TikTok the other day.
foreign problems? Like,
That's literally what I was saying on TikTok the other day. I was like, dude, like, what do these people like? How do they like? Where do they have the time to do this? Like, I don't understand.
clearly they're not with their studies. You know, they're doing this. So
I honestly,
the brainwashing is real, man.
it really is.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
Jesus.
Yeah. So this is like the reason why this guy got detained, because of stuff like this that was happening, and it was happening for a long time. Like, so it's about time that there's like some type of accountability. You know, there has to be, because if not, then what you're saying is you don't care about private property, and that's Marxist. So yeah. So let's talk about the Alien Enemies
Hold
Act.
on. Check out the chat real quick.
Oh, okay. What's good, Mary? What's good, AVP? Thank you for joining in. Same thing happens to some Asian students. The feds revoked her visa. She was a Columbia University student. Pretty sure she was pro-Palestine activist who was supporting Hamas. Talk about fuck around and find out, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like we gotta do something. If you want respect, you have to literally like act. And this is acting. So speaking of acting, Aliens Enemy Act of 1798. So that has been used multiple times throughout history. So I'm gonna clue you in on why I'm even bringing this up, because Donald Trump said he was going to use that to pretty much expedite the processes for deportation. That way people don't have like to go through a judge. And he's saying that he's going to use that on Tren de Aragua, because he declared them a terrorist organization.
But hold on, though. You can't just glaze past what we just watched. Like,
Oh, sorry. Is that
you gotta get more thoughts. You gotta like, what do you like? Okay, so what are your thoughts on like school, like universities doing these things, like students doing these things, like?
they can't? That's not peaceful. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not breaking private property, then okay, cool. You can do what you're doing. You can protest. But protesting should not be creating damages in a building, you know, or blocking people from going in the building or out the building. Like, none of that should be happening.
Why do you like think there's such a huge, like, I feel like there's been like huge like uprising and this kind of like behavior, you know, all these protests and such. I mean, before people would protest but it wasn't in such like great mass. Like, why do you think that?
I think people could be getting paid to do it. And I think
Like crisis actors, I guess.
yeah, and
Like paid?
also just people are more organized now. Like, there's an actual
What do you think the purpose of that would be though? Like having paid actors, they're like sowing chaos on purpose. Like what?
to get you to believe the narrative that they're selling.
Like to push a narrative, right?
Yeah, that's the only way. I mean,
I just find it weird that like now is when this is happening.
but it's always happened like that. Look at the 1970s with the hippies. The hippies were protesting because they didn't want the whole Vietnam War. So like they were actually peacefully protesting at the time.
Wait, say Vietnam again.
What?
Say Vietnam again.
Bro, I can never say that right. Vietnam.
You said Vietnam.
I don't know why I say like that, and then whatever, bro. Leave me alone. There's a lot of things that, you know, I don't pronounce correctly. Leave me
So
alone,
you think
man.
the hippie movement was a funded like psyop or something?
Yeah,
Damn,
I know, right?
never thought of it that way.
Yeah, hippies are like comunistas, bro. No quieren trabajar, siempre están en marihuanao. Like, you know, they don't want to work. They're always getting high off of weed.
Interesting.
You know, like when we were younger, we thought that was like cool, you know, but now that you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, they weren't very productive in society, and they had a very strong voice. They were young, they were fresh out of college, some were still in college, they didn't agree with the war, which is understandable, but, you know, we were fighting communism. We're still fighting communism to this day.
So you're saying these people here are kind of like the modern day hippie, in a sense?
I guess, just a different version of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the hippies back then were left, and these people are like kind of far right if you really think about it. Because people say that these are lefties. I mean, they are, but not really, because I mean the Islam culture is far right, like ultra conservative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Everything in excess is bad.
yeah, Sharia law, all that is far right. So it's hilarious how they're like, oh, Trump is fascist, but you're siding with a culture that is extremely far right. So
Extremes are never end well.
yeah, no, never. I wouldn't want either or, you know. So the closer you can get to the middle, the better.